background, got it. Hi guys, and welcome back to the World of Berry. It's your girl Ari Berry. Hope you're having an amazing and beautiful day. And today we are going to talk about my keto journey. A lot of people already know what keto is. If you don't, it's basically a high fat, low carb, moderate protein kind of diet. Basically, you're kind of just making your body rely more on using your fat rather than using carbs to burn energy and to kind of keep you sustained throughout the day. So it's definitely something that's pretty interesting. I think it was like really caught on, or was like a really big fad in like 2018, 2019. I have, there's still a bunch of people on it. But I wanted to talk about my journey and my experience with it and what I've gone through. So let's just jump right in. Also, I have some notes over here to the side so that way I can just kind of keep track within my storytelling. I tend to get a little bit carried away or caught off guard and just run on little tangents when I start talking about certain things. So I just wanted to keep myself on track. So first, I want to start with kind of my weight in general. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I have like a lipstick on. I just want to make sure that I am not talking with chocolate lipstick on my face or on my teeth, because like when you're filming on a camera or when you're filming on a iPhone, you have to make sure that you're looking at where the camera is rather than looking at yourself in the actual phone part. So I hope before was not talking with some stuff on my lips or on my teeth once again. Okay, anyway, tangent. See, this is why I've got the notes. So I've always battled with my weight for a very long time, and I, with my own mental stability with my weight, has always fluctuated as well. There was a brief moment in my life where, I was just like, well, this is my size and it is what it is. Even though I didn't really feel that way on the inside, that was what I decided to portray to other people. So a lot of people always thought that I was very confident, that I was perfectly happy the way I was, all of this, and that was all a lie. I was just putting on this face so that people wouldn't think that I was also struggling or also having an issue with the way that I look. So I struggled a lot with portions. I struggled a lot with knowing when I was full. And that's kind of always been my thing, ever since I was little, but it definitely increased when I got to college because you get a meal plan, so it's basically like buffet style. So you can go up and you can eat as much as you want and you can fill your plate up with as much food as you want. And there's no parent there to tell you not to eat this, or there's no parent there that tells you, you need to have some greens with the rest of your meal, or you need to get up and move, you need to get up and work out. It's really just more self-reliant on you. And so when you don't have those skills built into you before you go off somewhere like that, it gets really hard, and it just adds up. So I'd say around the end of 2019 is when I reached the highest peak I had ever been in as far as weight. To be quite frank, I was 300 pounds. And all my life, I've always said, okay, I'm going to try to lose weight. I'm going to do this and the third. I tried all these different diets. But I always told myself one thing, that I was never going to let myself get to 300 pounds. To me, I always felt like, okay, if I'm running through all these different diets, things like that, I have time because I'm not that big. I'm not 300 pounds. It's whatever. I'll lose the weight. It'll come. I'll lose the weight. No worries. 300 is so far away. And that number began to get closer and closer without me really realizing it. And before I knew it, around, I think it was March of 2019, I stepped on the scale at a doctor's visit, actually, because I was having a couple of pains, stomach pains and thigh pains, and I was about to go on this trip, and I didn't want to have anything wrong with me before I went on this trip. So I went to the doctor's office, stepped on the scale, and it read 300. I think it might have even ran like a couple over 300, and I remember being very, very defeated. I remember being like, wow, okay, it's gotten here. You're at this number, and you know, what are you gonna do? So in that moment, I basically said, I'm going on this trip. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to go on this trip. I'm going to indulge. I'm going to kind of live a little bit more carefree, because when I come back, it's over. I am buckling down because I have now hit a weight that I told myself I would never hit, and that if I hit it, I would need to really, really take the reins of my life and figure it out. So like I said, March is when that kind of happened. I didn't officially start keto until April. And so I heard about keto through my mom. She had done it prior to, you know, this whole me reaching my 300 number. And I had seen all of the great success that she had when she went through, or when she did keto. And she was always telling me, you gotta do keto, you gotta do it. Like, I know you'd really enjoy it. You still get to eat the foods that you like, and you'll lose the weight, and I think it'll really work for you. And I remember being like, yeah, whatever you say, like, it's just another fad diet. It's just another thing for me to try. It's not really going to do anything for me. It's just like all those other diets I've tried and just haven't ever gotten anywhere. But once I hit that 300 mark, I began to kind of really think more about it and say, okay, well, I saw your success on it. I've seen other people, you know, with their success, and I might give it a shot. So so I did a lot of research, and that is the first thing you need to do when pursuing any type of diet, but especially keto. You really need to understand what you're getting yourself into, what you need to do to kind of meet your macros, your calorie count, your fat, your protein, your carbs, all of that, but just also understand kind of like what that looks like. What does it do to your body? How everything works. So research is very key. So I did my research, and so it wasn't until about April, and I'd even say like mid-April, I actually officially started, maybe even closer to May, where I actually started keto and kind of got macros, a calorie count, and was like, okay, I had cleared out my entire refrigerator. I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do this. I got to, you know, for not only my health, but also just for my mental stability and my happiness, I've got to commit to something and actually see it through. So yeah, so the first week of keto, that was hard. I don't think I've ever experienced a diet be so difficult for me within just like the first week. And I feel like it was so difficult because I was learning, basically fixing my mind, changing the way it thinks, to now saying fat is good and carbs are bad. And it was weird because I'm like, okay, well, you know, the carbs are bad part. People always say carbs are bad, don't eat too many. Okay, but the fat part, the eating, you know, a nice chunk of fat.
What?
That was a little weird, but eating increase in fat, basically, that was very hard for me to wrap my head around, that was okay. And also kind of finding snacks that were keto friendly that I could eat throughout the day. Prior to starting keto, I had just gotten done trying to do like 6 or 5 small meals throughout the day. And so I was very much used to snacking throughout the day. And so when I started keto, it was very much a shock to my body, and I was going through a lot of hunger throughout the day because I wasn't having as many snacks. So it was very, very hard that first week. I also felt very sluggish. It was very hard for me to do things and to get up. I wasn't working out at the time. I was just strictly trying to get my body on keto, basically into ketosis. And so also, for those that don't know, when you're doing keto, yes, that is, you know, your fat intake, your carb intake, your protein intake. But it's also then you getting into ketosis because of all that regulation that you're doing with your food. And so basically ketosis is when your body then begins to process and burn the fat that you're eating rather than burning and process the carbs that you're eating for basically energy. And so that first week I was purely trying to get into ketosis, and luckily I got into it the very first day. I had cleared out everything. I was only eating foods that I had deemed to be keto related. And then woke up the next morning, you pee on a stick. It changes colors based off of how much ketones are in your system. And I was very kind of high up in like the dark purple range. So I was very excited. I was like, okay, great. I am in ketosis. I'm gonna rock this week. It's sucking so far, but it is what it is. I'd say after the first week, you weigh yourself, and they say that you typically lose, 5 to 7 pounds within that first week of starting keto. And I believe I lost 4 pounds in the first week. And I wasn't as upset that I had only lost 4 because I had never in my life lost 4 pounds in 1 week. No matter how hard I had worked out, no matter how much food control I had never lost 4 pounds in 1 week. So that was honestly the biggest motivator for me personally, was to see the number on the scale go down. And I then ran with it. Second week was a little bit challenging still, but I was able to kind of get a little bit of a hold on it. It started to make a little bit more sense. I was researching, following YouTubers, looking at Instagram accounts, Googling, finding all different types of recipes and things like that that I could eat that were keto. So that way I didn't feel like I was starving. One note I want to say is I don't go out very much at all in general. So a lot of people's triggers sometimes are when you go out with friends, like what do you do if you're on keto? Like there aren't as many keto friendly options when you go out to eat with your friends and things like that. I had become kind of more of a recluse or whatever word that is. And so I hadn't really been going out as much with friends, so that didn't play a factor for me as far as like my keto journey, or at least in the beginning parts of it and getting onto keto. So I was able to really just focus on myself and focus on the food that I was eating, the food I was preparing, making sure I was meeting my macros and calorie count and things like that. So around the 3rd month, I started feeling a lot better. And I mean, I was feeling better earlier in the month, so don't think you have to wait 3 months for it to kind of kick in. I had literally started to get more energy, I'd say, by like the end of the 2nd week. But about the 3rd month into keto, I was feeling myself. I had lost a substantial amount of pounds. I think it was 33 to be specific in the 3rd month. So averaging, maybe 10 pounds a month. So I felt great. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. This is the most weight I've ever lost. It was also something I noticed it was the most focused I had ever been kind of on a diet. I was strictly keto. I had not broken anything. I didn't waver. I didn't cheat. Nothing. I was keto only, and really stuck to my guns because, like I said, I was very determined. I hit that number and I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I've got to get down. So yeah, I lost about 33 pounds within 3 months. I even got a haircut. So I was really feeling myself. I was like, things are about to change. I'm shaking it up. And I was like, okay, this is great. Then I think I hit a lull. Things really started to slow down for me around the 4th, 5th month of being on keto. The numbers wasn't going down as quick. I wasn't losing as many pounds as I had previously. And I really started getting in my head. I started looking at myself in the mirror more and saying, I had took before pictures, and then I was looking at myself in this current state 3, 4, 5 months later, and I was like, I don't see the difference. When I put my clothes on, yes. Do things fit differently? Of course. But when I take the clothes off, I felt like I hadn't seen a change. I felt like I was still looking at the same Ariana that was 300 pounds. And it got hard. It felt very discouraging. And I remember reaching out to my mom and being like, I think I'm gonna stop. I've hit a lull. I don't see the change. I don't know what's going on. And she said, send me a picture of you right now. Sent her a picture of me, and then she said, send me a picture of you before. And she put them together in a collage, and I'll post that somewhere. And it was the first time where I had said, yeah, okay, I see it. I have definitely lost the weight, yes, but I've also lost the inches. And thankfully, listening to my mother, I had measured myself within like the second week at least of starting keto. So I had measured myself then, and she said, go measure yourself now. And I measured myself, and it turns out that I had lost like 18.5 inches like all over. And I was ecstatic. I, slowly began to get my confidence back up and was like, okay, I see it. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. My confidence and my attitude were improving. I was actually beginning to truly feel the confidence that I had always been portraying. So things were going well. I continued on the keto diet for I think another 2-3 months maybe. I could be math all wrong. I think it was for another 2 months, and I continued to lose the weight. I broke keto around Thanksgiving, maybe like two or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, to try to reintroduce carbs back into my system. Excuse me. I had probably earlier in that month, maybe a little bit before, had carbs, a Chick-fil-A chicken salad, and I remember my stomach being very upset by having that chicken because it was breaded, and it was the first time my body was really taking in carbs like that. And I remember my stomach being very upset. So when it came to Thanksgiving, I had already told myself a while ago when I started keto that I was going to break for Thanksgiving, because who doesn't want Thanksgiving food? And so because of my experience with having my stomach hurt, prior with getting carbs after not having them for so long, I kind of started to slowly incorporate carbs back into my system like 3 weeks out from Thanksgiving, just so that I wasn't going to be overloaded, because, Thanksgiving is basically a whole carb meal. And so I enjoyed my Thanksgiving. I felt great. Like I said, confidence had improved, clothes were fitting better. I was overall getting happier. I then got back on it for maybe 2 weeks. And then it was obviously, December, the holiday, Christmas, and work got to me, and there were all these goodies all around, and I don't want to say I caved, because if I say that, I feel like I defeated myself, or I'm being negative about it, because I didn't cave. I made the decision that I was going to enjoy myself. It's the holidays. I have come this far, and I am truly beginning to love my body and beginning to be comfortable in my skin. That just because I'm deciding now to eat these carbs or eat this little sweet or whatever right now does not mean that everything I've worked for and everything I've done is just now negated. And I always knew that since it had worked for me so well, that I was going to be able to get back on keto if I ever decided to, and that I had such more self-discipline. I don't know if that's grammar, but anyway, I had improved my discipline, my self-discipline, so I knew that I was going to be able to do it again. And so I then kind of stayed off of keto all through December. And then I'd say maybe even part of January, I was still not on keto. I jumped back on it towards the end of January, closer to February, and then stayed on it through the majority of February, because my birthday is in February. And so I had planned a trip, and I was going to Vegas. And so I wanted to live my life for once and be happy. And so I was like, you know what? I'm increasing my happiness and I'm getting there, but I'm not 100% there. So I'm going to jump back on keto, kind of try to lose a couple more pounds before I go to Vegas, and that'll be that. And so I went to Vegas, felt absolutely amazing. I ate, but I didn't overindulge. I didn't feel guilty about anything. I took tons of pictures. For once, I took full body pictures, which I barely do. And my confidence was, for me at an all-time high. I truly, for once, enjoyed myself and actually lived my life. I was about 47 pounds down on my keto journey by that time, which to me is amazing. I hadn't seen the numbers that I was hitting in years. I wasn't seeing the sizes on my pants in years. So I was feeling fantastic. I still feel fantastic. I am, for once, and I almost got a little emotional. I am very happy where I am right now. I have never been so confident, truly confident in myself and in the way that I look, the way that I do now. It was honestly the best decision that I could have ever made, and I thank obviously my mom for encouraging me, but I just really have hit a point in my life where I had hit a point in my life where, it was just not feeling the best. I was feeling kind of bleak, and since then it's just such an incredible change, and it's crazy. So yeah, give me a second. I'm going to attempt to stop tearing up. I did not expect that. Hopefully my makeup isn't ruined. Okay, so I think there's still a couple tears, but it's fine. So I recently got back on keto about a week ago now. Like I said, I'm very comfortable where I'm at right now. I'm very happy, but there's still kind of a number that I would like to reach. And I am like, you know what? I have settled into this body that I am in now. I'm happy with the way that it is, yes. And I am loving myself at this weight. And now I'm ready to pursue a different weight and pursue a different number, a different goal, and get there. It doesn't mean that just because, yes, I'm happy where I'm at right now, that, oh, why do you want to lose any more weight? Why do you need to get to this number? Well, because that's just, for me, I think that, yes, I'm happy where I'm at and I'm comfortable, but I don't like to be comfortable. I want to be at a number where, I just want to be at a place where I can be happy, and almost not have to worry about my weight. If I gain weight, it is what it is. If I lose weight, it is what it is. So for me right now, I just kind of want to keep going, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think I've gotten a good momentum going, and so I just want to keep going with that, and continue my journey. So it's definitely not over. But yeah, so that was just a little bit on my keto journey. I will upload a video kind of going more in depth about my body positivity journey. That's very much tied in with keto and how far I've come, part of the reason why I've cried. So I also want to put that out there, because honestly, I think that you have to talk about both. You have to talk about, yes, your keto journey, or yes, your diet journey, whatever it may be, but you also need to talk about, loving yourself along the way and seeing yourself at different sizes and loving yourself at each size. And either saying, this is it, this is where I'm happy, I'm going to maintain this, or I'm going to be okay if I gain or if I lose, whatever. But also saying, yeah, I'm good where I'm at right now, but I want to keep going. I want to lose a little bit more, or I want to get to this goal. And there's nothing wrong with either of those. So I will be uploading that later. But yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you. I hope you've learned something, or you take away something, or it inspires you to start keto, or whatever it is. I just want to say, don't wait for something to shock you to get your life together almost. Take your life now, and do what you want to do. Make that change. Live your life. Do what's going to make you happy. and don't wait. Take advantage of it. So, you know what you need to do. If you like this video, comment, like, subscribe, share this video, let everyone know what I am up to. I'm not just crying all the time. There are good videos on this channel. And hit the notifications bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And thank you guys for watching. See ya.